It's another exciting Friday on Annie's Chatroom. Yes, we always get inspired, empowered, and educated. Today, as human as we are, we must aspire to inspire before we expire on earth. So it is an opportunity to have these wonderful guest speakers on our show. And before we get to the topic for discussion for today, we have to know who they are, what they do, what pushes them to do more in the communities. Indeed, they are doing a lot, yet some of us we see it, we ignore. Some of us we see it and we get motivated to even do more than what they are doing in the community. And it's an opportunity to have them on Alice Chateau. Let's get to them and know who they are, what they do in the community, and what their source of motivation. You're welcome, my guest speakers. Thank you. Now we see you doing a lot in our communities. So today it's my privilege and it's my pleasure to know you. I know your names. We have Richard Wobble on our show. We have Gedrina Sifet on our show as well. And so I would love to know, and my viewers as well would love to know who you are, what motivates you, what pushes you to do more and more in the community. So first of all, I'll ask Richard Wobble.
All right, thank you. My name is Richard Isiguoba. I hail from Sanyabreku in the central region of Ghana. I'm an engineer by profession. I had my university undergraduate education at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. In life, what motivates me in life is my self-confidence, my ability to do things on my own. And basically in life, I see it to be one of the difficult questions. So every one of us has different questions to solve in life. So when you're doing something, you strive and then do it in your own way. My source of motivation has been me always trying to be self-confidence and also being honest in everything that I do. My weakness is being talkative. Sometimes me not being able to tell people to stop when they ask me for a need. I cannot let it go because I always try to give answer. And then that's basically what motivates me in life.
Amazing. Okay, so if they say you said your weakness is talking, then your strength is self confidence. I mean,
Yes.
and what is
I'm
this
a talkative,
greatest
that
challenge?
is what I said. I said I'm a
You love to talk, talkative. You love to talk.
That is my weakness.
Okay, so if what's your greatest challenge, and that challenge you have been able to solve it, and you said to yourself that, oh Richard, I'm so proud of myself for
Alright.
doing that.
Basically, my greatest challenge, I met it on my job site when one of my supervisors had to leave impromptu. So I was asked to take his role on site. So it was a big challenge for me. Me being someone doing this national service and then I've been handed a big role as someone who has been in the field for let's say about 5 or 10 years. I had to take up this opportunity and then show to the entire staff of the on site that I can really do the work. So I did my best in executing the task that was assigned to me, even though it wasn't easy. But I did my best because I had a good supervisor who always motivates me. His no nonsense attitude taught me the importance of time management and how to deal with different kinds of people on site. And also, I learned one thing from him that even if someone irritates you, you try to calm down issues if you want to be a good leader. Yes, you need not to be quick tempered. So I learned all those things from him. So that has really helped me to overcome certain things in life.
Okay, so I think grabbing some opportunities that comes your way rather prepares us for the better,
Yeah,
better future
for
or
the
better
future.
difficulties that you're facing.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. That's amazing. And thumbs up to the work you're doing as well. We have our change maker, a wonderful woman too on the show today. And well, to tell you the truth, she was my school prefect and she did a lot for the school. So it is time for us to know. I want my viewers as well to know what you did, what you have been doing, who you are, and what actually motivated you to do what you did before and what you're doing now
Before
in school and
high
now.
s- oh, okay. So I'm Gedrina Seyfert and an alumni of University of Ghana. I read political science, I minored philosophy, and currently I do beadwork and I do take food orders for I cook. And talking about what motivated me to do what I did back
And
in
what you're doing
school.
now.
Okay, so high school as a girls prefect, it was it was a bit challenging of a role considering the school because I looked at the setting and I think unlike other schools, it was actually more challenging being a prefect than an ordinary student because the teachers pour their frustration on the prefects, whatever the students did, even when it's not your fault. And we had students, I don't know whether it's just where I'm coming from, but they looked extra stubborn to me. And somehow I've just been quite a principled person, so I had to stand my grounds, even disciplining prefect myself, trying to make sure things were in order. And I didn't really I don't know, but I can't fake it. If the rules are set, they are set. Everyone has to abide by it. If there are privileges to it, you get to enjoy it. So basically, that's all I try to do to instill discipline, to make sure that I had to do what I had to do as a girl's prefect. It was as simple as that. I had to do what I had to do. That's one thing that I mostly do. Wherever I find myself, if it has to be done, it has to be done.
Okay.
Yeah.
And discipline. Okay, so now we sometimes see what you guys are doing in the society, making impact. You have a, I don't know, well, I don't know the name of the organization though, but I know and I have seen a lot on social media. I've seen a lot of impact you are making in the lives of young people in the society, as well as Mr. Richard too, making impact in the lives of young girls in his community. So we would love to know what the organization is about, why you are doing it.
Okay. I was volunteering with Kid City Ghana, and it's an NGO in Osu, and it has to do with trying to inculcate the love of reading in kids. And we do a lot for underprivileged kids, and we have 12 orphanages we partner with. So once in a while, we get them to come over to our premises and we help them to read. So a friend told me about it over a year ago, last year, around January, but I was a bit busy at that moment. So I started in March and I volunteered with them for yeah till February last year and I began to work as the volunteer coordinator. What I decided to join because I love kids. Since growing up, I've loved kids and it was just a great idea to be able to be there to help kids read. Growing up, I was privileged to have my parents. They loved reading. They used to buy Genographic for us. You read every week. We even read the Mirror. Anything readable, I was reading. And I remember when I was in class one, I was trying to um, pronounce the word diarrhea. I was reading my elder brother's book and I was trying to pronounce diarrhea and it was terrible. And I was the only one in the room trying to read, not knowing my mom was listening from the kitchen. And I was pronouncing the words like two words each. And I just went like, diarrhea. And since then, she just laughed and I was like, really? So someone was listening to what I was, and they kept laughing at me like even when I was growing up. And so reading has been fun. It's been our passion. Even in class, sometimes you kind of like almost all the time want to struggle to read. Yeah, at a point I wanted to be a newscaster. So when they're reading the news, I just sit down trying to look at how they read it and everything. So reading has been fun. So I felt that why it's if I can and I'm available, why can't I join to help these kids read? Because if you can't read, you can't even understand what you are supposed to learn. And these are school children. If you can't read, how do you answer English questions? How do you answer social studies? How do you answer environment? It captures almost every sphere of life. And if I can't read, it's almost even difficult to express myself. It has this inferiority complex effect. And when you're in class and you can't read, when you're called to read, you are shy and all that. If you are shy in class, you go out, you take that spirit with you. So I felt if these kids will get better in reading, it's going to improve their social life, every aspect of their life, and they become more confident. And they can even feel like, I can do this wherever they find themselves. So it was a great idea for me, and I just got into it and I loved it.
Wow. To Mr. Richard. We have been seeing your organization, but well, we want to know what goes into it, what you do, what you are targeting, and I don't know whether it's to impact the community or it's we want to know what goes into it.
All right. The name of the organization is Sharing Hope Organization, and it was established in January last year. Basically, the basic rule for the formation of the organization was to empower our young girls who, through a teenage pregnancy, dropped out of school and then they think that that is the end of their life. They cannot make it in life. So the basic rule is to encourage them, talk to them, that they can go back to the classrooms and then learn to become whatever they are determined to become in life. So it's been a challenge to be the organizers and then the board of directors and every member on board, that we go out to some basic schools, we do organize mentoring programs and stuff just to talk to our young girls on pressing needs such as the teenage pregnancy, for instance, because in our constituency it's been very rampant. You see young girls giving birth at age 13, 11, yes, and so on. So we normally reach out to those young girls in their homes, in schools, and stuff just to motivate them that look, when you give birth at let's say at age 30, you still have a long way to go in life. So that does not mean that your life has ended. You can still go back after 1 year, you go back to the classroom and then you become who you really want to be. So basically, that is what Sharing Hope Foundation is aimed at.
Wow,
Yeah.
amazing! People are doing a lot in our communities, and it is time for us to join hands to help make the world a better place. We are going on this short commercial break. We will be right back.
Hey, have you heard of this? I can't go to school.
Yes, girls are giving up, women are giving up.
And that is why we are here. Sharing Hope Organization, sustaining our vision.
Sharing Hope Organization is a non-profitable organization that seeks to help the less privileged girls, especially victims of teenage pregnancy, share their hopes with them and get them back to school.
And also defend the rights of the less privileged and vulnerable in the society. For sponsorship, contact
0540 6568
Sharing Hope Organization, sustaining our vision.
Welcome back from the short commercial break. Our topic for today is self-remodeling and personal grooming. Well, it is time for us to know what's actually self remodeling? Is it the modeling people, I mean the young women do on television or doing fashion show or something? Yeah, we really want to know what goes into the self remodeling before you get back to the personal grooming itself. So what's your take on this self remodeling? If you can shoot.
Okay, so self remodeling, I think, is a process. So just just as when you build a house, it looks nice in the beginning, but at a point some parts wear off and there are leaks and everything. You have to renovate the house. When it comes to a person, growing up, we have experiences, we meet people that affect our lives in every way, positively, negatively. And so sometimes we get to pick up attitudes and habits that we didn't plan on having, and people can actually change. So when it comes to self-remodeling, it's the stage where you try to analyze yourself, know your strengths and your weaknesses, and parts of you that you think need some shedding off, to you have to let go, and then some parts that you have to work on. So and trying to acquire knowledge and all of that about your personal development, and trying, let's say, renovating yourself to keep up to modern standard or the best of you.
Okay.
Alright. Self re
Remodeling.
remodeling. Remodeling. Yes, it cast my mind back on the project that I did back in university. I did remodeling of the Kiko's Castle. Yes. So when we talk about the remodeling from the engineering perspective, I would say it's just remodification or redesigning of an old structure, or let's say an artifact, that's into a good shape. Basically, so when we talk about the self remodeling, it means that as a person, we go through certain developmental stages in life. You find yourself in a community, or let's say in an area where you have guys, or let's say young girls or boys being too rowdy in the society. You can pick up a certain behavior, and then let's say one person might find him or herself at another place also. He will, you realize that the person learns certain character and then behavior from those in that community. So you see, self remodeling is like you have moved from one place to another, and then maybe you let go the old ways you used to do things. Because when you find yourself in a new environment, as we normally say, when you go to Rome, you do what the Romans do. Yes. So when you find yourself in a new environment, you need to adapt to the changes that has you have found yourself in. So basically, you have to learn new ways of doing things in order to help you upgrade yourself in future in one way or the other. It's going to help you so that on the other hand too, it's going to help you to be able to get along with people. Let's say I meet my new friend here, I'll be able to interact with her very well, because with self remodeling, you might pick up the a strength of, let's say, being a good communicator or something from someone maybe you've been communicating with frequently. Let's say she happens to be one of the what's greatest speakers that I've met. So basically, I will learn something from her, and then maybe I use it. I say, "Oh, okay, she's my mentor." So I can, yes, you see, something like that. So it's like you are structuring yourself or redefining yourself in a new.
But sometimes you wonder, is it necessary for us to remodel ourselves, our careers, our ideas, our inner self? Is it necessary at all?
Yes, sometimes it matters. Because when you find yourself in a particular area, or let's say a community where maybe all of them does a particular thing, you can't take your archaic or old fashioned stuff there. You understand? Let's say you go to Europe, for instance. You see how they do their things is different from how Africans do our things. So you try to adapt to their system of work and stuff. So I think it's really good when you find yourself in a new environment, you try and then get yourself adjusted to what they do. So you need to like restructure, let me put it, remodel yourself, or you try and then
To fit in.
to fit in the society. Yes.
I think sometimes we meet some people and their way of speaking in public. Let's say they make certain comments in their society and it's a norm, it's a normal thing they do there. But you meet the person in a seminar or in a conference and the kind of speech or the kind of the words that comes out of the person, you'll be like, really? And you try correcting the person will be like, "That's who I am." That's what do you say about such a person? That the person feels that that's how he or she was brought up. So the person is okay with it. The parents are okay with the way he speaks. So there's no need for him to change the way he speaks in that setting. So what will you say to that person? I mean, such a person who claims that's who I am, there's no need for me to change. There's nothing like remodeling of myself, my speech, or my inner self.
Okay, I think that there are some character traits that we can't change. We all have to accept. And there are some others too that we can actually work on. So you have to know yourself. Is this something that I only have to be able to deal with, or this is something I have to change? And so if whatever you are doing is not befitting, then it needs change. So you don't have to use foul languages. They're wrong. I can meet my girlfriend. We can insult each other. Hey, you are just crazy and all that. But you don't tell an elderly person you are just crazy. So you have to. It's part of maturity, knowing where you are, knowing the people you are with, and how to handle yourself. And it's all part of human development. So if someone is trying not to be matured as to knowing how to react to situations around them, the environment, the people, and everything, then they are just trying not to change, and they might need probably a little bit of extra talk to just let them know that no, this thing isn't really helping, so you have to change. So they have to be told. But honestly, there are some people who don't want to grow up. You can't force them. You can't force them. So with that, I think either they will have to learn it the hard way themselves in life, or I don't know, be somehow you might try to help people, but I don't think we can help everyone. It has to come from you. If you are willing to learn, you get taught. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so we get back to the personal grooming. If we are to restructure our ideas ourselves and to fit the society, the new society in which we find ourselves, or let's say you have a job opportunity and you need to learn their new things. That's why whenever you have an opportunity, you'll be asked to come for a workshop or an orientation for you to be able to have an idea of what they do there. You can't come there with your own norm, with your own way of life. It probably might not fit in whatever they do there. So if that's the case, then what is personal grooming? If the remodeling is to restructure yourself, your ideas, add value to yourself to fit into the new society in which you find yourself, and then the technological world in which we live in. If you are still living in the archaic world, I mean the olden way of life, I mean you wouldn't you go to the university and you don't know how to start your whole life. You have to come down and then learn new things. So how then do you talk about personal grooming?
Personal growth, in my perspective, I would say is the art of caring for oneself. Yes. Basically, in life, everyone needs to groom him or herself in order to fit in the society he finds himself. There are several ways boys and girls can groom themselves. The basic ones that he or she might take serious is, for instance, a guy. needs to learn how to trim or cut his hair when it's bushy. That is one way you can groom yourself. And two, keeping your fingernails clean and trimming it. Also, making sure your basic stuff that you need to do at home, you learn to brush your teeth every morning, and I think in the evening as well. That's basically twice in a day. Yes, they are the basic things that let's say guys or girls need to do to um, groom themselves as let's say a guy or one. Yes, and also when you go to the workplaces and stuff, a guy, you grooming yourself very well help you to be respected on the job site or your workplace, because you can't just dress anyhow and then say you are going to your work environment. Yes, because when you are to work in the office, you know there is a prescribed attire to wear, and then maybe today when you are going, you just put on anything. Let's say a jersey, for instance, and then you go to the office. You see, your friends will be laughing at you because you don't fit to be there, or that's not the prescribed attire you're supposed to wear. So with that one, someone is not supposed to come from outside and tell you that, hey, young man, you are going a wrong direction or so. So at least you need to all learn from the society or how the ethics of the job or something that you're doing tells you to do. So I think personal grooming, you have to look at yourself, what you can do best to let's say improve on your standard, or let's say your I think that's how I need to put it. Your standard in the community, or how you get yourself to be known by your people at work and stuff. So there are so many ways. Before you become successful, you need to take some key things personal.
So do you think the youth out there have learned something on the fact that they need to groom themselves personally?
Yeah, I would say yes to some degree or to some extent. Some have learned a lot because we all know that in life you don't dance to the tune of others. Let me put it that way. You see, we are not there to copy others, or we shouldn't let anyone's timeline influence us to do what we are supposed to do. Because some are there, some might get rich earlier, some it will take a long time for them to get rich. You don't know how they went ahead and then did that. A typical example, let me give you Jack Ma. Jack Ma, who started Alibaba, he started some time back. You see, he had to go to school, this and that. He did a lot. He has a lot of challenges. Bill Gates, a typical example, he dropped out of school and then he's one of the richest men on earth now. So I don't think you just have to get up and compare yourself to others. It needs, you have to begin with
That is
yourself.
so. Then my point is, then I can dress the way that I feel I'm okay to the
No,
workplace.
it's not
But I
like
don't want to copy the
copying
way
from.
my boss dresses.
I
So
get
like,
you. I get your point now. So if I may say, I will put it this way: do not let anyone rush you with their timeline. As I said, yes, because Einstein himself said, not everything that counts can be counted, and not everything that's counted truly counts. Do you understand that? Yes. Let me put it this way. You see, in life, we are all like it's becoming challenging. We are in a technological world, so if you don't learn something to help yourself, you will realize that you are lacking behind whilst your friends are going forward. So I think in one way or the other, you need to learn something in order for you to achieve something in life. Because we all know education is the key, but we keep changing its locks. Yes, we keep changing its locks. Some might say, "Oh, I'm a graduate from where? Junior high school." Oh, you see, it sounds weird. So I think, well, once you further and then you go forward, you realize that there are different ways of doing things. Yes. So I think that will help you to understand what the society really need of you. So you don't just get up and say, "Hey, I've seen this young man doing this, so I'm also going to do it. You don't know, maybe the person will succeed. You will not succeed by doing so. So at least you need to just study it carefully and you know yourself what you can do best and you try and work towards it. That is what I would say for our young guys and young girls out there.
So, Henry, now what would you say? What's your take on personal grooming? Do you think, especially the young women out there, some may wear their own stuff and feel, oh, I'm okay in it, I can take it anywhere, but forgetting that they've forgotten to take care of themselves, as in grooming themselves before they move out. So that inner grooming is not yet done. Yet they want to go out there with the generalized dressing everybody's taking out. So what's your take on the personal grooming?
I'm not really getting your question. Um, can
My
you
question is,
rephrase?
you see young people
Yeah.
dressing at home. Before, that's how we dress at home. We think you're in the house. So you just wear things just to have a free like, body something. But at the end of the day, now it's out there. Is it that they have not been groomed in the house or at home, and now they are taking the same way of life outside, or they need some kind of education on how to groom themselves before going out there?
Okay, so outside as in work
Work,
or okay,
workplace,
so
their
taking
school.
clothes you're supposed to wear in the house to work.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't this kind of 'cause I think most young girls these days are being very cautious about what they wear. I think the only problem is that sometimes I may have noticed is that they they get a bit twisted in trying to look attractive. So they think that looking attractive means showing more. So if I want to get the attention wherever I'm going to, whether work, a party, or a friend, I have to show more so that people can see. Like seeing more means, but it's not really about that. If you know the occasion you're attending, if it's corporate, you have to be corporate, and being corporate, it has to be decent, and decency is attractive. Being decent is attractive. If you are decent and you know how to comport yourself, you look attractive. You know how to handle yourself, how to walk, how to talk. I think those are the things that make one look attractive. So if you know that you're in the house, I'm home. This is what I can be in. If it's a short trouser you want to wear, if it's a big shirt, that's what you're supposed to wear. If you are going to church, you have to know I'm going to church. You have to be conscious of where you're going, the people you're going to meet. There are some dresses that can fit both the party and the church. It's fine. So if you think that I'm going somewhere, I'm not really too sure about the costume. Whether it's going to be too high or someone tells you, I'm throwing a party in my house this evening, you're invited. And you don't know, is the party going to be a very casual one, like just people coming to shout and dance, or it's going to be you get there and people are kind of like in a dinner wear. So, at, in a place like that, you can have a dress. There are some dress. I do have a dress that if I'm going somewhere, and I sometimes crack this joke. If it's casual, I fit in. If I go there and people are dressed, I fit in, cause the dress fits in. Yes. So, it doesn't when I'm really doubting how is it? Are people going to be overdressed? If you're overdressed, I might look simple, but I don't look out of the crowd. Yes. So I think you just have to know where you're going and you look at what you have. I think maybe we should touch on that. You have to know what you have because sometimes we are trying, you try to look like my friend is wearing a dress, it's all so shiny
Yes.
and this, and they're expensive. You also want to wear, someone is wearing 6 inches, sister, you can only walk in 2 or 3, you also want to wear 6. No, if all you need to wear is high heels, 2 inches is a high heel. So walk in your high heel and be confident. And that's the main thing. If you are confident in what you wear, no one can come and laugh at you, honestly. So if and that can also come when you're in the right clothes. If it's at the beach, you're going to wear a long gown. Like,
Dinner wear.
no matter what you do, you can't be confident because you already know you are out of it. So if you know, after you fit in, just be confident with what you have. If your friends have more, you have less. Treasure what you have. Make them as neat and as clean, as beautiful as possible. Be beautiful yourself, and when you wear it, no one is even going to know that those dresses, it didn't have to take dollars to buy, or you didn't have to like kind of break your neck to get it. You still look beautiful and comfortable. And for me, let me just add this. I think one thing with personal grooming and about creating first impressions and trying to be lovely and all that, I think it begins with a smile.
We are going on this short commercial break. We will be right back.
Another guilty beat. When I wake up, you be first thing on my mind. I something need by one of a kind.
Welcome back from the short commercial break. Okay, so what's your final take on the fact that how we should then remodel ourselves and then groom ourselves? What's your final? Well, I've got to know that and understand that the best makeup or the best grooming is you can wear anything, of course, and then you might not even fit in that particular occasion, but the smile itself will put everything off, and then you stand out. You might even be the one everyone is looking up to. Meanwhile, you couldn't even dress to suit that occasion. So I think that's one thing I've learned from the personal grooming. But if it's when it comes to the remodeling, how then do we remodel ourselves as youth, as people of the world?
Okay, I think remodeling is an internal thing. It's that is more internal. Even though self grooming is a little bit of also internal, like a small comes from within, or maybe you can fake it though. But it's better to fake. If you feel like crying, it's better to fake than to not have a smile at all. So I think with remodeling, we have to know who we are. We have to know what we want to be, what we want to become, and what we want to do, what you're doing now, who you are. It's about self how do we call it? Self-awareness. So if I get to know that this is what I want to do, you that is where you are able to analyze and say that I think this is not helping me be who I want to become, or this one kind of helps me, so why don't I put more effort in that? So like with a house, if the roof begins to leak, you know the roof is not supposed to leak. That's when you try to fix it. But if you don't know that you're not supposed to be in a house where the roof leaks, you're going to be sitting down with a roof. So with self remodeling and self grooming, I think that it's it has to do with the individual. You have to know things like he said a lot. Cutting your hair, keeping your clothes neat, where to the attire to wear, putting on a smile. If there are some things you don't know, you have to learn. It's this whole topic is about being a better version of you, trying as much as possible to keep improving on yourself. We grow up, some things change. Even Paul said when I was a child, I talked like a child. As an adult, I spoke like an adult. So if you are 20 There's some attitude of yours. You don't have to do the same things when you're 40. You don't have to do the same things when you're 60. So if you are able to improve on yourself, that's when we can say that you are remodeling. So I remember one time after choir rehearsal on a Saturday, and when we got down, the what do you call it? The conductor for that, to the one who would have conducted on Sunday, he just got there and was like, "You don't look confident on stage." To me, it was kind of surprising, just saying like that. The first few seconds was a shock. I said to myself, like, really? But immediately he said, I just said, really? Oh, okay. So I just began to go back and think about it. So I felt if he said that, then it could be true. And I took like, okay, so if it's true, what could be the thing? And I realized it was true because I was more concerned about the notes I'm about to sing. I don't want to make a mistake and all that. So instead of me enjoying being on stage, I was too worried about the notes to sing. So immediately he said that. The following Sunday, what I did was, okay, now we are not going to worry too much about the notes to sing. We are going to enjoy ourselves and sing the song. And honestly, that remark he gave me, to be honest with you, I'm so grateful for it because till now, anytime I'm going on stage, I'm trying to look at, so what should the people see? I don't want to look underconfident on stage, even though I'm singing right. So sometimes you might be doing what's right, but there are some things that you don't really know. So when it comes to self modeling and grooming, sometimes you have to take um, some comments, or I don't know, have appraisals from friends, from family, and sometimes people do tell us some things without necessarily saying that, hey, I want to tell you something about you that you have to change. Sometimes you just have to open your ears just wide enough to pick up on little things. If you really do love yourself, you have to really be worried about what people are saying. Not too worried about everything people are saying, but you ask yourself, is this going to help me in any way? So, like he said, I don't look confident on stage. I'm supposed to look confident on stage. So, after that, the next time I try to smile, I try to, I just try to enjoy myself. And I think with life, if you love yourself, almost everyone's going to love you. So that's one thing. If you love yourself, you're going to be worried. You're going to take the time and the efforts to groom yourself, to know yourself, to remodel yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, you wouldn't care. But if you do love yourself, I think you would care about it. And because you love yourself, you want people to love you as well. And so you try to give yourself the best version of you that society will benefit from.
Right. I think he said it all, but then um, with a self remodeling, my take on it would be things that you need to do is one, you need to identify yourself, who you are, yes. And once you identify yourself, you need to identify your strengths and weaknesses, yes. And she made mention of you paying attention to details. Yes, it's true. You need to listen more than you talk. Listen more and then talk less. Yes. It's also one way you can remodel yourself for the next challenge that you're going to meet. Yes. And also, you need to learn more. You need to educate yourself. At least you learn so that you will be um, used to the system. Okay, you need to educate yourself so that you can fit everywhere that you go. So with a remodeling, yes, everyone must study in order for him or her to achieve what he or she has planned to get. Yes, so I quite remember back in school, I had a teacher, Mr. Obo Ekon, who once came to me. I think by then I had a low confidence. I was very low when it comes to speaking in public to people. So this teacher approached me and then he said, Richard, you know something? You can put all of your excess energy into good use. So he gave me the stage and the platform, okay, to talk to people. And he said, Our stories are the ladder that makes it easier for us to touch the sky. So I don't know. Yes. So he told me to climb. I will get there. I should keep climbing. I will get it. So I did, and then I realized that yes, indeed, it hasn't been easy, but then with a step, you can reach where you want to. Yes. So remodeling of oneself, it begins with a step. If you don't make up your mind, or you don't tune your mind that, oh, I need to adjust myself to in order to be adapted to the way of life people do, then you can't make it. Yes, you'll not be able to make it. So I think what she said was right.
Okay, thank you very much for
Yeah.
coming on the show. Loving yourself will enable you to remodel and groom your personality and always be the best version of you, I mean yourself. Stay tuned next week. See you.